provisions of the open meeting law, GL Chapter 30A, Sections 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people may gather in one place. This meeting of the Great Barrington Select Board will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and a requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen to the meeting may do so by following the instructions at the top of the agenda. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Pursuant to Mass General Law 7C 30A 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of a meeting of a public body or may transmit the meeting through any medium. At the beginning of the meeting, the chair shall inform other attendees of any such recordings. So this meeting is being recorded by the town and by CTSB, the Berkshire Edge, and there may be other recordings. Any member of the public wishing to speak at the meeting must receive permission of the chair. The listing of agenda items are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. We will first come to order as Select Board and Great Barrington Housing Authority joint meeting. And we have one topic, and that's to appoint a member to the vacancy of the Great Barrington Housing Authority. Do I have a motion, and then we'll have discussion.
Motion to appoint Jamie Goldenberg to the vacant seat on the Great Barrington Housing Authority.
I'll second.
So I have a motion by Ed, a second by Bill. Discussion by either board or the public.
Steve, can I just chime in for 1 second?
You may.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask that if Mary Pat is on the line and I'm just not seeing her, to just raise her hand and I can go ahead and promote her. I'm just not seeing her name in the list of participants.
Thank you. We'll give that a second too. And right now we have 37 people on this call, including board members. Not seeing anyone who wants to speak, and I'm giving it plenty of time. Then I would ask Jim Mercer to take a roll call of your board.
Jim, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I'd like to make a roll call vote. Marie Ryan.
What is this vote for the person that he just mentioned, that Ed
Yeah, you
mentioned?
probably have a motion by your board too.
Yeah, so we need to have a motion,
Yes,
not a roll call vote.
right. You make a motion, then discussion, and then you guys will vote first.
Okay, well, I make a motion that we appoint Marlene Koloski as to the Housing Authority.
I make a second to that. First off, I'd like to, as chair, I'd like to say that we're delighted to have two applicants. Both seem very qualified for the position. I don't know that much about Jamie. I do know that Marlene Kowalski has been doing a great job as head of the LTO. She's been very responsive to the tenants' needs, both during the pandemic, during the holidays. She's delivered meals, and she's really been a great liaison between the board and the tenants. Again, I wish there were two positions that were open that we could fill them both, because they both seem very qualified. But I second the motion for Marlene, just based upon the fact that she has the experience and that she's a known quantity. Any more discussion by board members?
Yeah, I have something to say. This is Eileen. Can you all hear me?
We
It's
can.
awfully, okay. There's no echo or anything, so it's hard to tell. I quit as secretary of the tenants organization because Marlene didn't follow the bylaws. The bylaws now, by the way, require that she cannot be on the board and be chairman of the tenants organization or president of a tenants organization, but she hasn't said anything about resigning. I feel that Jamie Goldenberg is absolutely qualified. In her application, Marlene says that she's very good friends with Tina. We don't need somebody who's good friends with the director. We need somebody who is independent and will think for herself. So I vote for Jamie Goldenberg.
I just have one thing to say. I got a text from Mary Pat, and she said she's not able to hear anything. She can't get any sound. She's trying to get in by phone. Do you have to let somebody in, Mark, if they're on by phone?
I just need to know the last 3 digits of her phone number so I can recognize her.
It's 4664.
Okay, she should be able to speak now. She's muted on her end, but not on our end.
Okay, I just told her to unmute. Let's see if she can do it.
You want to tell her how to unmute from a phone?
From a phone,
*6.
*6?
Yes. While we're doing this, I think because there's going to be two people who are going to get votes tonight, instead of a motion, let's just do roll call. And because it's the cumulative votes. In other words, it's not each board that's voting necessarily. It's whoever gets the most votes out of all board members present. So if we withdraw our motions and we just go down the line, it'll be a lot cleaner.
Withdrawn.
Okay, I withdraw.
Haven't done this in a while, but that would be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I don't know why she's not. She just read it. I said do *6.
Do you see her in, Mark?
There you go.
There.
Oh, there she goes.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yep. So does anyone else have anything to say? Mary Pat, we're going to just take roll call and
Yeah.
we have 2 applicants.
Okay, yeah, I've heard everything.
Okay, good.
I just want to put a plug in for Marlene, who went above and beyond everything by putting together and hammering out all the policies available for the tenant association. So obviously, for those people who've been around, also know. Yes, I think that she worked very hard on that. I might be, yeah.
Excuse me, I was on the board at that time, and the policies that were adopted were from the Union of Public Housing Tenants.
Okay, anyone else have anything to say? So I'm just going to read the names and you can vote for either Marlene or Jamie and we'll tally up the votes. And we will. Yes, if someone has their hand up, I will be glad to recognize it. Ann O'Dwyer. And Kate, I'll recognize you next.
Okay. Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to speak on behalf of Jamie Goldenberg. I worked with Jamie when she was starting the studio, and I met with her several times when we were looking at the Housatonic School. So I just think she'd bring a really smart perspective. I haven't worked with Marlene, so I can't speak to that, but I just want to say I think Jamie would bring a lot of insight, a lot of experience in terms of what she's done thus far, and I just speak on her behalf.
Thank you, Ann. Kate?
I guess I was asking, this Q&A thing at the top of the screen I'm seeing is new, and I'm wondering when it's supposed to be used or
We are
not used.
We are not using that
Okay.
for a variety of reasons.
Okay.
Anyone else? Hearing no one else, I'll take a roll call vote of both boards, and then we will tally that up. I'll start with the Housing Authority. Mary Pat?
Here.
No, who are you voting for, please?
Oh, well, I thought you guys took away the motion.
Right,
think
no,
you
we
have
don't
to
need a
put it back.
motion. We can just do a roll call.
Oh,
If you're
okay.
voting for
Marlene.
Marlene. Okay.
Marlene.
Eileen?
Jamie,
Jim?
Marlene,
Marie?
Marlene,
Lee?
I'm going to abstain. I don't feel like I have enough information. I have conflicting information, so.
Kate?
Marlene,
Bill? You're muted, Bill.
I would vote for Marlene now.
Ed?
Jamie.
And I will vote for Jamie. So I take it that is 5 votes for Marlene and 3 for Jamie. Does anybody want to just correct me on that one?
could I ask a question?
You may, as soon as we verify this. Yes, absolutely. I'm not hearing anyone tell me I'm wrong, so that is correct. Yes, Eileen.
Are you going to require that, as specified in the LTO's bylaws, before she is sworn in, Marlene resign from the LTO as chairman,
If
as
that is in
president?
their bylaws,
Or-
if that is in their
It's in the
bylaws,
bylaws.
if that is in their bylaws, it's what you'll have to do.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any citizens speak for this part of the meeting? It's directly related to the Housing Authority. Marlene, go ahead.
You did.
Just unmute yourself.
In the coming months, there will be the bill passed for an LTO person to be on the board. And I believe it's the old bylaws, because of legislation and stuff, everything is being updated. And I'm not friends with Tina. We work together. You know,
Marlene, you'll have to go by the bylaws that are in effect now.
and I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
But I mean, I put a call into Boston and they said it's not a conflict. So,
If it's in your bylaws
okay.
now, you will have to resign.
Okay. Hopefully it's not. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing no one else, we'll adjourn the joint meeting. And we'll call to order the Select Board regular meeting.
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you all.
So the next is the approval of the minutes of July 27th, 2020. Do I have a motion? Ed, you're muted.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion by Ed, a second by Bill. Any discussion?
I had one correction.
Yes.
Was in number 5E, you got S. Hugh. It should be S. McHugh for our assessor.
Thank you. Anything else? Roll call vote. Lee?
Aye.
Kate?
aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
And aye, it's a unanimous vote. Next, we have Select Board's announcements and statements. I will lead it off because the first thing on here before our announcement statements is kind of a bittersweet moment at the retirement of Chief Walsh. And I've prepared statements and I have a couple things to read. So on behalf of the Select Board, the employees of the town of Great Barrington and its citizens, I want to congratulate Chief Walsh on his impending retirement. Having any job for 38 years is an amazing feat. Being a police chief of a small town is a thankless job that consumes your every waking and sleeping moment. You are on call 24/7, 365 days a year. On July 1st, 1983, Officer William Walsh became Chief William Walsh when town leaders appointed him as their youngest and newest police chief. As police chief, it was expected that he would keep our beautiful town free from major crime and allow its citizens to enjoy life free from the worries and stresses that one typically sees in many larger communities. Throughout the years, we've had natural disasters, unfortunate accidents, and crimes. Under the chief's strong leadership and quiet but forceful personality, we have endured and been better for it. I want to personally thank the chief for all he has done for this town and wish him good luck, good health, and much rest in his retirement. I have a couple things to read here. I'll try to put them on camera. One is from the Commonwealth of Mass, the House of Representatives. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Chief William Walsh in recognition of 4 decades of service as Chief of the Great Barrington Police Department and for all you have done in service to the Great Barrington community. The entire membership extends its best wishes and expresses the hope for the future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 21st day of December 2020 at the State House, Boston, Mass. By Robert A. DeLeo, Speaker of the House, offered by Smitty Pignatelli, State Representative. And then the other is from the Governor Charles D. Baker and Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito. Chief William Walsh, on behalf of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I am pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation in recognition of more than 4 decades of service to the community of Great Barrington as Chief of the Great Barrington Police Department, this 18th day of December in the year 2020, signed by Charles D. Baker, Governor, Karen E. Polito, Lieutenant Governor. Chief, with all my heart, I thank you for all you've done for this town. Anyone else have anything to say? Chief, you're never a man without a few words. Go right ahead. Just unmute yourself.
Okay, how's that?
That's perfect.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Steve, and everybody for their kind words. It's very, very much appreciate it. This has been the most rewarding career that anybody could ask for. And I've loved every minute of being a police officer in my hometown for 40 years. Serving as the chief of the Great Barrington Police Department has been the greatest honor of my professional life. Thank you to the town leadership over the years that have supported me and the department. Thank you to our citizens. Over the years, you've given us a new station, the best equipment and training, and all-around support. And the taxpayers have always been good to the Great Barrington Police Department. Housatonic and Great Barrington, they've supported our budgets and our major asks over the years. And the citizens and the taxpayers have always been very good to this department. So thank you. You're the best. This isn't a job. It's more of a lifestyle. And when you're in this role, if you don't have the support of your family behind you, you're not going to be successful. I'm deeply indebted to my wife, Kathy, my children, Brittany, Matthew, and Michael, and my late parents, and my whole family, my entire family. I want to thank each officer and our wonderful civilian staff for their support they gave me over the years to lead this great agency. We've taken concrete steps to enhance the department's responsiveness, transparency, and accountability to the public that we serve. We've been a leader in accreditation, 21st century policing ideas, the comfort dog, co-responder issues, police reform, and so many other initiatives that I'm just so proud of. I'm extremely proud of the progress and the accomplishments that our officers and our civilian staff have made together. The Great Barrington Police Department has without doubt composed some of the best law enforcement and civilian personnel in the state, and I leave the privilege of having worked alongside all of them. And closing, I just wanted to say that I'm incredibly grateful for the honor and the privilege to have served as Great Barrington's Chief of Police. May God bless our town, and may God bless the Great Barrington Police Department. Thank you.
Chief, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Well said. Select Board announcements. Lee.
It's hard to follow that up, but Chief Walsh, I just wanted to say that when folks ask me about how the police department is in Great Barrington, I'm very proud to say it's a very, very supportive organization and group of officers. So thank you for that. One thing I just wanted to ask was, or bring up, was the ice on Lake Mansfield. And if there is a way for us to flag it as a town when it's unsafe. I often walk by there and I see people, tempting themselves to go on the ice. And it would just be nice if we could put cones up or just let people know if it's unsafe. I know that I don't want to put another, ask on the town in terms of policing this, but I do fear that someone might take a chance and go on the ice when it's unsafe. So I'm just wondering, I guess this is a question for Mark, if there's any way that we could put cones up when the ice is not safe.
I'll speak with Sean tomorrow and see if there's anything we can do for signage or some other way that we can make our residents aware.
Okay.
Can I just suggest, Lee, if you don't mind, because of liability reasons, maybe we just put signs up that to make sure that the ice is thick enough before people go on it, and it's at your own risk. Because if we deem something as safe and someone falls through, I don't know what the definition of safe is.
Yeah, and I don't expect us to kind of check it every time. It's just I know it was unsafe, and when the snow came, it was tempting to think it was, and I was just very, very worried that someone might go on thinking that the snow is making it safe. So if there's a way just to have some level, that the town keeps an eye on that. So
yeah, makes sense. Thank you. Kate.
Yeah, I happened to be out past dark the other night and drove through town, and I just wanted to say a thank you to the Rotary and our town DPW and all of the storefronts and businesses that have really, feels like they've gone above and beyond this year to make our town really bright and beautiful. And so I wanted to thank them, as well as, and on top of that, the DPW for their work in snow removal, and the storm was immediate and really responsive. And I want to give them a preemptive thank you, knowing that it is going to rain an inch on Christmas Eve and then freeze the next day. So those guys are going to be working, they're going to get paid for it, but they're going to be working very hard on a time when potentially they should be or want to be home with their families. So just thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Kate. Bill.
Oh, nothing here.
Ed.
Nothing other than congratulations, Chief.
Yes. Town Manager's report.
Sure. Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
A few brief updates tonight. First off is a Housatonic Waterworks update. And I'd like to just say that my only update related to the Housatonic Waterworks company at our December 7th meeting, our last meeting, was to report that I was copied on a request from the Department of Public Utilities seeking a significant amount of information from the Housatonic Waterworks. I believe that request was dated November 24th. And I just wanted to mention tonight that Housatonic Waterworks has replied to that request. I believe it's 200 plus pages of information. And we have posted that information on the select board page under the tab Housatonic Waterworks information. So that's where we're dropping all of the information available to the public. So if there's anything you're looking for, that's where you'd find it. Next on my list is the police chief search updates and transition plans. And I should start by congratulating Chief Walsh as well. And I just wanted to let the select board know and the public that our ongoing process to fill the vacancy created or soon to be vacancy created by Chief Walsh's retirement is nearing its final phase. Our committee of 7 presented me with their finalist recommendations, and I'm working with our recruiter now to notify applicants and schedule finalist interviews for early January. I believe they're already scheduled for January 4th and 5th. So in the meantime, I'll be appointing Sergeant Paul Storty to the position of interim chief effective Thursday, December 24th, and we'll be getting a press release out tomorrow morning on that. Next on my list is the community impact funding updates. As you know, we've been reviewing applications for a few months now, and we have a 5-member committee in place. And I just wanted to take this opportunity tonight to announce that the town of Great Barrington will be granting 5 awards totaling $185,000 to local nonprofit organizations right here in Great Barrington. And those organizations are the Berkshire Hills Regional School District, $80,000, Railroad Street Youth Project, $50,000, Berkshire South, $25,000, Volunteers in Medicine, $20,000, and Construct, $10,000. I'd also like to thank our Community Impact Funding Committee for all their hard work in reviewing these applications and making a final recommendation. So you'll see a second press release go out tomorrow on that, and we will also be notifying the recipients as well. And the last update I have tonight is just a quick mention of our town-wide municipal phone system. And I believe this really is only newsworthy because of the number of issues we have with our phone system here at Town Hall and some of our other departments in town. We often get complaints about our phone system or the difficulty we have transferring from building to building and also voicemails. So on that note, I just wanted to mention that contractors did begin installing our new municipal phone system, which is a voice over IP system, last week. And this will allow us to transfer calls between the various buildings and should improve communications greatly. So it should also allow callers to reach any department in the town, whether we're in the same building or not, just by calling Town Hall. We'll have a very complete list of extensions so you can reach the fire department, the public works department, anyone you'd like to reach without having to know all of those numbers individually. So we're expecting the official copper line to internet phone transition to happen right after the new year. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thanks, Steve.
License and permits, Ruby Chang and Ron Wojcik for a driveway permit at 251, 253 Long Pond Road. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
A second.
A motion by Ed, a second by Bill. Are there any questions?
The fire department said to keep an eye on the driveway. I just want to point that out to make sure the applicant knows and notice that. The fire chief didn't have any concerns, but he did want to point that out.
That's fair. Anyone else? Roll call vote. Lee?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
And aye. It's unanimous vote. Jane Bronson for a driveway permit at 305 North Plain Road. Motion?
Motion to approve.
And second.
A motion by Ed, a second by Bill. Discussion.
Seems fine.
Roll call vote. Lee?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
And aye, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Select board licenses and fees. Mark, do you want to give a little summary on this one?
Sure. So at our last meeting, December 7th, you instructed me to ask our finance committee for input on abating a portion of the license fees this year as a way to help our business community through this challenging time. So on December 15th, the following week, the finance committee reviewed the recommendation that's in your packet tonight. You should have an executive summary in there. And that recommendation included a discount or a proposal for discounting 14 categories of permits by 50%, or roughly $21,000 in local revenues. And I would just like to report that the Finance Committee voted unanimously to support that recommendation.
Do you have a motion?
A motion to approve the recommendation of the staff.
I would second.
Discussion. Hearing no discussion and no comment?
Hold on, I have discussion. Sorry, I had myself muted.
No problem.
I think on initial thought, I felt like half seemed fair. I mean, we don't want to push the burden onto homeowners, but then I realize this is kind of jumping ahead. Looking at the building permits and fees, I think some of that money can be made up in other places, and we also have a lot of marijuana money coming in. And I mean, $42,000 isn't really that much for taxpayers to take on. And I think a lot of these businesses, if they weren't here after the pandemic is done, I think that's a huge amount of empty space in this town, or restaurants that won't be here, or bowling alleys, or to me, it feels like the right thing to do is to waive them 100%, even though it's not what, I don't know. That's my feeling.
Anyone else? I think there's a balancing act, Kate. You're not wrong. These businesses are extremely important to us, but there are many citizens who are out of work, and I'm preaching to the choir, you know all this, who, yes, the marijuana money is not available in this fiscal year, and it is a balancing act. Ann O'Dwyer.
Am I unmuted now?
You are.
Yeah, great. Ann O'Dwyer, 26 Kirk Street, also on the Finance Committee. And Kate, we did talk about that, and we did struggle with sort of any sort of reduction in fees or revenue, given that things are so uncertain, even in terms of state funding or other sources of revenue. And we felt that 50% was right, at least at this point, something. And I just wanted folks to know that on the Finance Committee, we did talk about that thanks to the work of Tate Coleman on the Transportation Committee and Sue Carmel, we have a considerable savings in the transportation, the vocational transportation budget, more than we had. So we're paying much less than we had budgeted for. So we have some revenue. But I think the committee felt that 50% at this point was a reasonable start, reasonable support. And as Steve mentioned, there are lots of residents right now who are really struggling, and taxpayers who are struggling. And that's something we hope to look at future meetings as well.
Other discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to second what Steve and Ann just said. That is, for me, I think this is a good compromise. And I am mindful of taxpayers that are struggling as well as businesses. So for me, it seems like a good point to meet in the middle.
Anyone else?
I guess I'm going to say it now. I'm going to personally vote no on this, not because I think that they should be charged in full, but for the opposite.
Understood.
Just
So a roll call vote, Lee.
Aye.
Kate.
no.
Bill.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Aye, and it passes 4-1. Thank you, Ann, also. So we have licenses, 2021 licenses and renewals. So there's a couple, we have to read each one of these categories. And there's two things with each motion, that the assumption is that there are no changes in hours. And if there's going to be any changes in hours, they'll have to come back to us at a subsequent meeting, because there are none listed here that say that there are changes. And that it's contingent upon the submission of the required documentation by December 31st, 2020. It's always tough. And many times we've had to have a second meeting. This is our second meeting, but a second meeting in December just for this. And since we're already at December 21st, I'm really reluctant to have the board come back next week. So we can make all these motions contingent upon the submission of the required documentation by December 31st. By all rights, if the documentation is not in, these businesses can't open on January 1st. So it's just the way it is. So if we tonight only approve the ones with documentation, we will be back here next week.
I'm good doing it your way.
Yeah.
Me too.
Many years we've come back. We used to do it the first meeting, and then this meeting would be our cleanup meeting. And the last couple of years, we haven't done it that way. So Ed, let's start with the motion by what is told to me that we have to have each one of these categories read and each one of the businesses read. So,
okay. And I will note if it's subject to submission of documentation, or can I just trust that they'll look at the asterisks?
I would say that for the record, all of these are subject to documentation coming in. I would say which ones don't have it in yet, Ed, and subject to that no change in hours.
Right. So I make a motion that we approve the following on-premises all alcoholic licenses, assuming that they have the same hours and subject to, on the ones I will mention, subject to the submission of all documentation. The Barrington, 20 Railroad Public House, Aegean Breeze, Agave Mexican Grill, Aroma Bar and Grill, Baba Louie's, Bizen, Brick House, Cafe Adam, Cove Bowling and Entertainment, Chrissy Farm, The East, Fiddlehead's Grill, Fiesta Bar and Grill, Four Brothers Pizza Inn, Fuel, subject to submitting all the required documentation, GB Eats, Butternut, Koi, Manhattan Pizza, subject to submitting all of the required documentation, Marketplace Kitchen Table, Miller's Pub, Moon Cloud, subject to submitting all the required documentation. Number 10, Prairie Whale, Rubener's Cafe, Tangier Cafe. There's a typo on this list of Tangier. Thornwood Inn, Triplex Cinema, the VFW James Modolo Post 8348, subject to submitting all the required documentation. The Well and Chico Tenkal.
I'll second that.
Thank you. And interestingly enough, which I hadn't thought of before, to make this just slightly more painful, every one of these are a roll call vote tonight. We haven't done this in virtual meetings before, but it is. So Lee.
Aye, and
Hey.
aye.
Kate.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
And aye. It's unanimous.
Motion to approve the following on-premises beer and wine licenses, again, assuming that all hours have stayed the same. Barrington Brewery, Bazillion's, Great Barrington Pizza House, Najee's, Siam Square, and Namahawi.
And I'll second that too.
And any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Lee.
Aye.
Kate.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Unanimous. I vote aye.
Motion to approve the following off-premises all alcoholic licenses, assuming the hours are the same. Aberdale's, Big Y, Table and Vine, Domaini's, Gorham and Norton, Guido's, Plaza, Package, and Trotta's. There's a typo with Plaza Package.
Yes, I'll second that.
Discussion? Hearing none. Lee.
Aye.
Kate.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Aye, so it's unanimous.
Motion to approve the following off-premises beer and wine, assuming the hours are the same. Berkshire Co-op Market, Rubener's Cheesemongers.
And second.
Lee.
Aye.
Kate.
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I.
So tell me, I don't have to read the hours for the following
You
one?
don't have to read the hours. The only thing I'm gonna say, we're voting on common victulars as a unit, but I will recuse myself from Fairview Hospital because I work there. Out of an abundance of caution, I guarantee you, I don't make extra money off their cafeteria or their vending machines.
Motion to approve the following common victular licenses. 20 Railroad Public House, Aberdale's, Aegean Breeze, Agave, Aroma Bar and Grill, Baba Louie's, Bard College at Simon's Rock, Barrington Brewery, The Barrington, Berkshire Co-op Market, Big Y, Bistro Box, Bazillions, Bizen, Bogies, Brick House, Butternut, Cafe Adam, The Cove, Chrissy Farm, Cumberland Farms, subject to submitting all the required documents, Dunkin' Donuts, The East, Elixir, subject to submitting all the required documents, Extra Special Teas, Fairfield Inn and Suites, subject to submitting all the required documents, Fairview Hospital, subject to submitting all the required documents, Farm Country Soup, Fiddlehead Grill, Fiesta Bar and Grill, Four Brothers, Fuel, subject to submitting all of the required documents, GB Eats, Gorham and Norton, Granville House, Great Barrington Bagel, subject to submitting all the required documents, Great Barrington Pizza House, Great Barrington Sunoco, Great Wall, Guido's, Holiday Inn Express, Koi, Lipton Mart, Mahawi, Manhattan Pizza, subject to submitting all of the required documents, Marjoram Monroe, subject to submitting all of the required documents, Marketplace Kitchen Table, McDonald's, Miller's Pub, Moon Cloud, subject to submitting all required documents, Najee's, number 10, Patisserie Lennox, subject to submitting all the required documents, Pleasanton, Maine, Prairie Whale, Price Chopper, Rio Cafe, Rubener's Cafe, Shiro, Siam Square, Soco Creamery, subject to submitting all of the required documents, South Main Extra Mart, Steam Noodle, Subway, B&G Restaurant, Swedish Baker, Taft Farms, Tangier, Taqueria Azteca, Thornwood Inn, Triplex Cinema, VFW James Modolo Post 8348, Vivaldi's, subject to submitting all required documents.
Just go back
Well,
to the VFW.
Windflower Inn, Wyandotte, Chico Tenkal.
Just go back to the VFW. That's also subject to.
Oh, it is. It's missing one asterisk. Sorry.
It is. So
Say
I
that
have,
10 times fast.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I have second.
Discussion? Roll call, Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I vote aye on all except for Fairview Hospital. I recuse myself.
Motion to approve the following weekday entertainment licenses. Bard College at Simon's Rock, subject to submission of required documents. Berkshire Co-op Market, Berkshire South, subject to submission of required documents. Brick House Pub, Chrissy Farm, Fiesta Bar and Grill, the Guthrie Center, subject to submission of required documents. The Mahawi, Najee's, number 10, St. James Place. There's a typo in St. James Place. Tangier Cafe, Thornwood Inn, Triplex Cinema, Unitarian Universalist Church, the VFW James Modolo Post number 8348, subject to submission of required documents, Wyandotte Country Club, Chico Tenkal.
And a second.
I have a motion and a second. Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I.
Motion to approve the following Sunday entertainment licenses. Bard College at Simon's Rock, subject to submission of required documents. Berkshire South Regional Community Center, subject to submission of required documents. Bogey's Restaurant, Fiesta Bar and Grill, Guthrie Center, Mahawi Performing Arts Center, Thornwood Inn, Triplex Cinema, and the VFW James Modelo Post 8348, subject to submission of required documents.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I, unanimous.
Motion to approve the following in-holders licenses: the Barrington, Briarcliff Motel, Days Inn, subject to submission of required documents, Fairfield Inn and Suites, Holiday Inn Express, Lantern House Motel, Monument View Motel, Monument Mountain Motel, Thornwood Inn, Travel Lodge, Wind in the Pines, Windflower Inn.
And a second.
Discussion? Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Motion to approve a lodging license for the Wainwright Inn.
I'll second.
Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and aye, it's unanimous.
Motion to approve the following corn-operated amusement licenses: Bogies, Cove, Barrington Brewery.
And second.
Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and aye, it's unanimous.
Motion to approve the following Class 2 auto licenses: All-Star Auto Salvage, 7 and 23 Auto Motor Sales, David Dempsey, Decker's Auto Body, Fastback Motors, JD Automotive Incorporated, JW Auto, Johnny's Garage, Larkin Limited.
Second.
I do have a hand raised. Michelle? Go ahead, you're unmuted, Michelle. Michelle, you're unmuted. Okay, let me try this. Ending in 185, if you unmute yourself and give your name and address.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
All right. I don't know what you heard, but I'm concerned about the renewal for All-Star Auto Salvage. The reason being, before you began addressing the renewals, you mentioned the hours of operation and whether there was any changes or not. Back in September, I filed a public records request having some concerns over the expanded operation up at Four Mills, starting very early in the morning and going into the evening. And I inquired as to their hours of operation. And I'm looking at a September 9th email from the town manager to me. He had a conversation with Ed May and Chris Rumbold, and it was stated, quote, collectively, we are not aware of any hours of operation listed for Mills. We cannot locate a special permit file that includes the information or a past permit that includes the information. This is very concerning to me living in this neighborhood. Does this mean that that operation can run 24 hours a day? But if the town of Great Barrington doesn't know this, how can you renew an application? You're supposed to know what you're...
Michelle, my knowledge is that we only require hours of operation for restaurants and common vic.
So for the public record, you're saying that Four Mills can operate 24/7 because
obviously. So what I would recommend, Michelle, is that we would approve this tonight and we work with staff to bring this, to try to figure this out and bring it to the select board meeting if necessary.
Yes, because I did speak with the owners. We had a civil conversation, but that conversation took place on Thanksgiving Day when they started operating their business before 7 in the morning. And I went up there. So I'm very concerned about this. You know, Four Mills has been there for a long period of time, working when the Four Mills family owned it. There really were few issues other than the fact that it's the business it is. Now it seems the business is expanding. It's getting noisier. It's operating longer hours, has many more trucks than the Four Mills family had. So I thought there would be more parameters on the permit. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention while you're renewing the application.
So we'll put that into staff's hands, and if necessary, we'll bring it to a select board meeting.
All right. I appreciate it. Again, this isn't a complaint. It's just for clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. So I have a motion and a second. Roll call would be Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I, unanimous, and we will look into All-Star Auto Salvage.
Class 3 auto license. This is a typo, but it's All Star Auto Salvage, Decker's Auto Body, and John's Auto.
Second.
Roll call, Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I, it's unanimous.
And finally, a motion to approve the following motion picture licenses: Mahawi Performing Arts and Triplex Cinema.
Second.
Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. It's always a little tedious, but it's nice to see we have so many businesses in town. New business, building permit fee schedule. Mark or Chris, do you want to take this one, or do you want? It's fairly self-explanatory.
Sure, I can take this one. So in your packet for consideration tonight is an executive summary from our building commissioner, Ed May. Ed, I believe, is on the line. I'll look for him in just a second, but he's suggesting the board consider deleting what was intended to be a penalty penalty clause back in 2012, or double or triple that penalty clause so that it has the effect of being a penalty on an applicant. And Ed can probably give a much better description.
Ed, go ahead.
I'm here. You got me? Can you read
Yes.
me?
Yes, we do.
Well, back in 12, we reviewed the fees. We did a couple of things. We included all work up to $10,000 for just a $35 permit fee. And the idea was that a citizen of Great Barrington would be able to replace his deck, work on his roof, vice versa, without breaking the bank. And then we got rid of a cap. We had a $10,000 permit fee, and that topped out at about $1.64 million. So if you did a $2 million house, we still only got $10,000. We got rid of that cap. But meanwhile, we overlooked the penalty clause. Never did that calculation. It's a phrase that I never invoked. Basically, if I didn't believe what you had turned in, I was to recalculate based on the square footage. So I've never had occasion where I would call someone in Great Barrington a liar. Never ever used that. But I did have people come to me back in 14 and wonder why they couldn't apply under that penalty clause. And it would have saved them $14,000 on the permit. We laughed about it and went ahead and charged the regular fee. But basically, our penalty fee is a discount. And I've run a couple of projects. So if you build a really, really big house, maybe the square footage would work. If you build a small, concise house, this square footage figure doesn't work at all. It's really a discount. Sometimes we'd have to triple the square footage number in order to equate what we were collecting under the cost of construction. So again, I'm going to recommend that we either get rid of that penalty clause. I don't use it. Or if you would like to have a penalty clause, we really need to think about tripling what's in there right now. About $1.50, $1.60 per square foot.
So can I start with a motion to remove it? See how that goes?
Yes.
I like motion to strike the penalty clause from our fee schedule.
I'll second that for discussion.
Discussion.
Ed, so if for some reason somebody came to you and they didn't put in a number or you were unclear, if there isn't a penalty clause, you would just find out the cost of building and then go from there?
Yes, we coax it. I have to coax anyway for a lot of other information. I actually draw something on the board called Plan Ahead, and I put the D on the second line. So when you're coming in to get a building permit, we should have all our ducks in a row at that point. We should know what your washing machine is and everything. A lot of people try to jump the gun. Oh, I don't know what it's going to cost yet. You're a little early. You need to come back when you know what the cost is going to be. And of course, if you were doing work on your own house, I wouldn't expect that you'd be paying anyone labor. So I expect the homeowner cost of construction to be lower than if you hired a contractor to do the same project.
Sorry, so Ed, you've given us two options. Of the two options, do you have a preference?
Delete it.
Anyone else? That was pretty clear and concise, Ed. Thank you. Roll call vote, Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed, and I. It's unanimous. We will delete that clause. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Select Board Special Permit Fee Schedule. Chris or Mark?
Sure. Chris is also on the line and may want to chime in, but staff is suggesting that the select board consider doubling the special permit application fee from $150 to $300 effective immediately, so that the true costs of advertising and mailing abutter notifications are paid by the applicant rather than the town subsidizing the balance.
Motion to approve the town staff recommendation. Special permit fee to a flat fee of $300.
Second.
I have a motion by Ed, a second by Bill. Discussion? Seems very logical. Roll call vote. Lee,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I. Next one is just a very, very generous donation of park playground equipment at Lake Mansfield from Susan and Judd Chauvel. And Select Board needs to accept the donation. The Parks Department last week voted unanimously to accept the donation and recommend the Select Board vote likewise.
Motion to accept the donation and send a lovely thank you note.
I'll second.
Steve,
Yes.
both Neil and Catherine are on the line if you would like a little bit more information.
Sure, absolutely. Good, they've raised their hand and I will find them. I see Neil's hand raised. Go right ahead.
Hey, first, I just want to say thank you on behalf of Susan and Judge Cheval and the Cheval Family Foundation for accepting the donation, hopefully tonight. We're really looking forward to improving the grounds down there at Lake Mansfield Beach. And we've been working extensively with Mark's team and really looking forward to making this happen.
The town appreciates it very much, and the children of the town will appreciate this. So thank you, and please thank Susan and Judd, and let's vote on it before I say thank you. I know we're not voting against it, but we should officially make this happen. Lee?
The adults, thank you as well, including me.
Good point.
Yes.
Kate? Bill?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
And I. It's unanimous. Neil, thank you very much.
So welcome. Thanks for having us tonight.
Very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next is David Glasser, Program Manager, Citizens Housing and Planning Association, CHAPA. One is a request for a waiver of the town's right of first refusal on property at 6 Emily Court, part of the Blue Hill Commons, Chapter 40B/A, affordable housing, allowing a seller and CHAPA to work to find an eligible buyer. And 2, request to apply a new universal deed rider to all 40B and /A affordable housing units at Blue Hill Commons. I believe David is on the line and will give us an explanation.
Yes, hi everyone. David Gasser with CHAPA. So to the first point, 6 Emily Court, it's an affordable housing unit at Blue Hill Commons under Chapter 40B. CHAPA is the affordable monitoring agent for that development. The owner of that property is notified CHAPA that she would like to sell the property, and according to the deed rider, the town does have a right of first refusal before CHAPA can assist her in finding a new income eligible buyer for her property.
So do I have a motion on
Motion to waive our right of first refusal.
Thank you.
And a second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to say that the Housing Trust has just given some down payment assistance to someone who's going to purchase the other unit in Rose Court in that development. And that's all.
Thank you. Roll call, Lee?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
And aye. It's unanimous. The next one, please.
So the second request here regards the deed writers for all the affordable units at Blue Hill Commons. This development was built prior to the adoption of what was known as the Universal Deed Writer. It's basically an updated deed writer. It has some benefits in terms of preserving the affordability of the unit in perpetuity. The current deed writers in use at this development, there are certain situations where the affordability would be lost if there were, for example, if there was a foreclosure at one of these properties, or we were unable to locate a new eligible purchaser, the affordability restrictions would be permanently lost. These new universal deed writers guarantee the affordability of the unit in perpetuity, in addition to a few other benefits. So we, as a matter of course, are recommending to towns that have these older style deed writers in place to allow CHAPA to use the new universal deed writer anytime a property goes up for resale or refinance. We will record one of these newer deed writers to control the restrictions moving forward.
Yes, go ahead.
Motion to authorize CHAPA to apply the new universal deed rider to 40B affordable housing units at Blue Hill Commons.
I'll second that and also mention that the Affordable Housing Trust has recommended that the select board approve this.
Thank you very much. Discussion. Seeing none, roll call. Lee.
Aye.
Kate.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
And aye. It's unanimous. Mr. Gasser, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Economic Development Committee, recommendation from the EDC to disband the committee.
Hi, Steve. Chris Remble speaking.
Yes.
Both Steve Picheny and Tim Newman are on the line. Also, Tim and Steve were respectively chair and vice chair of the committee. And at the last meeting last week, the committee discussed how best to formulate and implement the EDC's objectives and economic development in the town generally. And the response from the committee is that so many of the things we do in Great Barrington are economic development, but they don't lend themselves to a formal committee process well. And the EDC voted that it would probably be best for the town to take a different course in its economic development efforts. And after some discussion and a lot of thank yous to the pretty impressive brain power that was around that table, voted to ask the select board to disband the committee. And I think it goes without saying to continue its economic development efforts without the formal actions of the committee, but to continue those efforts.
Any discussion or comments by Steve or Tim?
I don't really have anything significant to add. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. We just, after a year and a half, didn't feel we were able to effectively do anything significant to advance the economic development interests of the town. It just seemed like a detour rather than something that was an effective source of new ideas that could be implemented.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee and disband the committee.
Second.
Discussion. So motion by Ed, a second by Bill. Roll call vote. Lee.
Aye.
Kate.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
And I, and we would be remiss if not once again thanking for the current and past members of the Economic Development Committee for all the work that they did put into it. So we do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would just say it was not the lack of trying.
No, yes, I absolutely agree with you. Thank you. We have in our packet the proposed budget meeting schedule. And this is not something we have to vote on. It's just the finance committee is fine with these dates. I want to make sure the select board is all fine with these dates.
I mean, I'm totally fine with them. I was just curious with the 2 days in a row, we usually do a week and then another week.
This is what Sue recommended and I didn't. but-
I was just
You're
curious. It
correct.
doesn't, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Anyone have any problems with the dates? So my only question, and don't hold me to it, the finance committee was somewhat split between 6 and 6:30. Does anyone feel strongly about either of those?
I have a preference for 6, but I won't argue with anyone if they would prefer 6:30.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I echo that.
It looks like the board prefers 6. It's, these are all going to be virtual meetings. Not to be a downer, but in February and early March and late March, I don't think we'll be together. So I would prefer 6, but they're all better. 6 or 6:30 is better than 7. So, which we used to do, and then go to like 9:30 or 10. So, okay. So I appreciate that from the board. If Ann's still on the line, Ann's got her hand up. Hold on. She is still on the line. She raised her hand. Go ahead, Ann.
Thank you, Steve. And I just want to request, maybe we can see how it goes with the first 6 o'clock meeting. I think for those of us who are anticipating, and again, we don't know, but that we might be at the location of our day job and then having to get home in time for 6 o'clock. This might be more challenges. And right, it may be that we're all home all the time and there's not an issue. So if we could see how the 6 o'clock goes for the first few meetings, and then if need to adjust it, if it turns out that that might be necessary.
We can be very flexible, and we don't want to leave anyone out because of their job.
Right. So I think, it's the dates that are, I think, right, most important.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Citizen speak time. I see no one raising their hand. So we'll go to select board time. Lee?
Nothing.
Kate? Nothing for Kate. Bill?
No, nothing here.
Ed?
Nothing.
This is our last meeting of the year. I just want to wish everyone and the citizens of the town a happy new year, Merry Christmas, and let's hope we have a better 2021 and a healthier one for everyone. Media time. By unanimous consent, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.